The time has come. The wait is over, and our favourite, fabulous, oh so frivolous girls are back. And we have been lucky enough to catch up with them to get you the inside scoop on the Sex and the City sequel. Let's face it, the only sensible way to celebrate their return is with a totally guilt-free shopping spree. I mean, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. So come with me and I will let you in on the secrets of this super deluxe next instalment. Can you believe it's been 12 years since we first met Carrie, Samantha, Miranda and Charlotte? And just think about how much their lives have changed. And now, at last, we reconnect with the girls 2 years on since we last saw them.
Big and Carrie have embarked on their marriage.
Samantha's back at home in New York. She lives in New York now.
Miranda, her marriage is back on track.
And Charlotte is a stay-at-home mother.
I mean, you know, it's just everybody just continues on with their lives like how life is.
I think I can safely say this has been one of the most fiercely guarded plots in film history. Kim Cattrall even saying it was like working for the CIA. Oh, I like this. So even though there are some things we won't know until that glorious moment when we go and see the film, let me show you what I have managed to suss out. Director and mastermind behind Sex and the City, Michael Patrick King, says the themes of this one are all about tradition and trust.
It's really evolution and tradition. I mean, what I think is so funny about Carrie Bradshaw, the main story of the last movie was Carrie Bradshaw getting jilted at the altar, then Carrie Bradshaw finally getting married. So now I have the eternal single girl marrying Mr. Big, the elusive bachelor. Now what? What happens after you say I do? So the idea of her fitting into the role of wife, even today, women today are still, even in cities like New York, like I have to be a wife, I have to be the perfect mother, I have to be a worker, I have to be a certain way because I'm aging. Whereas Samantha, of course, she's going through the change and refuses to change. So I thought it's interesting to still explore girls against society, because that's what the series was, really. Single girls against the society telling them that they should be married by now.
Now let me dispel the rumour floating around that Carrie and Mr. Big moved to London and split up. That said, surprise, surprise, it's not all smooth sailing in the Carrie and Mr. Big camp.
Big and I are getting a little too Mr. and Mrs. Married. We have to work on the sparkle.
Sparkle.
And sadly, Carrie and Big are also having to work much harder on having a baby than they'd expected. Plus, Carrie catches Mr. Big flirting, and it doesn't help matters that it's with the super sexy Penelope Cruz. I really thought he'd turned over a new leaf at the end of the last movie, but has he just gone back to his old ways? Again?
Well, that's what you gotta watch the movie for. Can't give away my secrets.
And it looks like Carrie's no angel when she bumps into her old flame, the adorable Aiden.
This is the best mirage that I've ever had.
What?
I'm talking like, I don't know you, come here, you.
I think Carrie's now realizing at the top of the movie that there's a big difference between having a wedding and being a married person and having a marriage. And I think she is so much in love with Big as she ever was. But I think she's trying to figure out how tradition works in her life.
Charlotte has been a supporter of Big for a long time. There's a lot of history about this, so it's not what do I think, I have to say what she would think. I think she liked Aiden fine, but she really felt that Carrie and Big were meant to be together.
If you've seen the trailer, you'll know that the legendary Liza Minnelli does a cameo performance at the wedding of the highly strung Anthony Marantino to Carrie's gay bestie, the beloved Stanford Blatch. Now, despite the rumours, Katie Holmes and Victoria Beckham won't be in the film. But I can confirm there will be cameos from Miley Cyrus, Mariah Carey, Heidi Klum, and megastar model, he is such a hottie, Noah Mills, who plays Samantha's latest toy boy. Sex and the City wouldn't be complete without a glamorous holiday somewhere. And unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that this time our favourite fashionistas are stirring up some drama in the desert. They're in Abu Dhabi, apparently to visit Smith on the set of his latest movie. But interestingly, not a single scene was shot there. They were banned from filming because the saucy content was seen to be at odds with the city's conservative culture. Director Michael Patrick King didn't let this stand in his way and used Morocco as a stand-in film location. And all you Lawrence of Arabia fans will recognise the sand dunes in Sex and the City too. Morocco clearly loves it when the movie circus comes to town.
I chose Abu Dhabi because Samantha is a character who's on the cutting edge of PR. And when I sat down to think about where they could go, I thought, what's the cutting edge? What's the spin right now? And it became Abu Dhabi to me. And their phrase even that they say is Abu Dhabi is the future. It's also mysterious and exotic visually. And I also thought it had a lot to do with the fact that there was no economic downturn there. So I had full permission to be as extravagant and as decadent as I wanted to be. We couldn't shoot in Abu Dhabi because it didn't quite work out for various reasons, and the filming in Morocco was even better because they have a very long history with filmmaking, and I got to film on those dunes, and those dunes are the dunes where they filmed Lawrence of Arabia.
Sex and the City wouldn't be Sex and the City without all the glitz and glamour of its unique and oh-so-out-there fashion. The TV series and now the movies have introduced women to style and fashion in a way no other show has. And of course, this movie just ups the ante. Michael Patrick King says this one's all about new fashion inventions. With way less branding and big name labels than the last movie, it's back to vintage, lots of gold and plenty of bling.
Patricia Field is, I believe, a genius. And over the years, she's done some amazing costuming for the series.
I think Pat pushed herself to just a new place in this movie because of the cultural standards that we had to meet, that we were happy to meet. She was really challenged, and how do you cover people from head to toe and still talk about people's sex?
Pat thinks outside the box, and that's what we love about her. She's not like any other costume designer I've ever worked with.
Bright colors, gorgeous jewelry, hats sometimes, scarves, fabulous sunglasses, and very eclectic, very fun.
Once I opened the door to the Shangri-La of it, the Scheherazade of it, she went a little nuts in a great way.
And as an added bonus, we even get an 80s flashback of the ladies. I cannot wait to see how they make 40-something glamorous ladies into 20-something gorgeous girls. Now, there are some tips I think I'm going to need to write down for future reference.
The flashback was so much fun.
I loved it. I loved wearing the wig, and I loved putting my mole back.
I asked for a Walkman because my Walkman in the 80s was always around my neck. And when it was shot, we shot it in the streets. When it was, one of the photographers picked it up. They said for young people, that was the first iPod.
And how's this? One of our own has a part to play. She found fame on Australian Idol, and now Ricky Lee's single has been used in the trailer. She wrote the song about hitting the town in New York with her best friend, having a whole lot of fun without the boys. But she had no idea how big it would become. Even though it looks like we won't be seeing her in this one, we'll be hearing Jennifer Hudson singing a duet with Leona Lewis for the film. And surprisingly, the opening theme isn't Alicia Keys and Jay-Z's Empire State of Mind. Instead, Alicia does a cover of the Blondie classic Rapture, remixed with the Sex and the City theme song. Now, if that's not enough to get your Manolos dancing, all four girls, Carrie, Samantha, Miranda and Charlotte, belt out a rendition of Helen Reddy's female empowerment tune, I Am Woman.
Singing that Helen Reddy song was a highlight of my life. Actually, when we were in the recording studio, we were having so much fun. I said, why don't we go on tour?
Well, thanks for joining me. That's as much as I can tell you. The rest you're going to have to find out when you hit the cinema. And for those of you who are like me and are greedy and want more, there's no word as yet as to whether there will be a third instalment, but I've got a feeling they won't leave us hanging for too long. For all the glitz and glamour, see Sex and the City 2 on the big screen from June 2nd, only at the movies.